Friday night, the tiny national holiday where your work self asks to be set on fire. All week, you are a calendar-wearing a person. You answer messages, you attend the meeting, you smile at the rectangle. You say, "Sounds good," while a private emergency slowly learns your name. Then Friday arrives, not as rest, as permission. Permission to buy the feeling back. The lights change, the office badge comes off, the shoes change, the face changes. The phone gets louder, the room gets darker, and suddenly everyone agrees to pretend this is freedom. But look at the shape of it. You do not enter Friday from peace. You enter Friday from damage. 5 days of swallowed irritation. 5 days of tiny obedience. 5 days of being useful in a way that slowly removes you from yourself. And then the weekend says, "Congratulations! Here is 48 hours to become a consumer with a pulse." That is the trick. Friday is advertised as the opposite of work, but sometimes it is just work switching costumes. The spreadsheet becomes the menu. The meeting becomes the group chat. The deadline becomes last call. The performance review becomes a selfie you took 12 times because your eyes looked too honest. You are not escaping the machine. You are being released into the spending enclosure. And the enclosure is beautiful. It has base, it has food, it has a discount code. It has a little chair where your future self can sit quietly and watch you make decisions. So the question is not, why do people love Friday? Of course they love Friday. The question is stranger. Why does the day that promises to save you so often become the day you destroy yourself in a socially acceptable direction? Because Friday is not always rest. Sometimes Friday is where work sends the part of you it already used. Here is where the self gets fried. Not in one dramatic explosion, in tiny, normal transactions. A drink that is really a reset button. A cart that is really a personality transplant. A meal that is really a hug with a delivery fee. A scroll that starts as 5 minutes and becomes a small tunnel under your life. None of this is evil by itself. That is what makes it difficult. Pleasure is not the problem. The problem is what happens when pleasure is only available after depletion. When you are rested, you choose. When you are fried, you click. There is a difference. Friday understands this difference perfectly. The algorithm understands it. The bar understands it. The sale understands it. The glowing rectangle in your hand understands it so well it should legally have to introduce itself as management. Because the tired version of you is faster, it says yes faster. It spends faster. It eats faster. It watches one more thing faster. It replies with a little smiling face while its real face is under the floorboards. And somehow, this is called having a life. So you go out, or you stay in, or you do both in the cursed modern way. Physically home, spiritually in 6 different marketplaces. You are on the couch, but your attention is in a nightclub, a shopping mall, a casino, a confessional booth, and a tiny courtroom run by people who have not texted back. The weekend does not simply give you free time. It gives you compressed identity repair. Be fun now. Be relaxed now. Be attractive now. Be spontaneous now. Be the version of yourself that weekday life kept promising was still inside the building. And if that version does not appear, no problem. There are products for that. There are apps for that. There are rooms with lighting for that. There are substances, screens, carts, plates, playlists, and people who are also trying to prove they have not become a work email with skin. So Friday becomes a little ritual. You do not rest the self. You deep fry it in stimulation and call the smoke a personality. Then Sunday arrives. Not like a monster, like an invoice. The room is too still. The phone is too bright. The laundry has formed a government. The dishes have developed a legal case against you. And somewhere in the distance, Monday starts clearing its throat. This is the part no poster tells you about. The weekend does not always end when the fun ends. Sometimes it ends when your nervous system realizes it never actually recovered. You changed scenery, you changed lighting, you changed tabs, but the pressure stayed inside the room, wearing different clothes. And now the bill arrives. Sleep debt, money debt, attention debt, tiny shame, tiny dread. The strange feeling that you were supposed to become yourself this weekend, but instead you became a receipt with shoes. The rebellion had a total, and the machine loves this part, because Monday does not need you healed. Monday needs you functional. Just charged enough to answer the message, just hopeful enough to make plans for next Friday, just tired enough to believe the next escape will finally work. That is the loop. Weekday pressure, Friday fry, Sunday dread, Monday reboot. Again, again, again. And the cruelest detail is that the desire underneath all of it is completely innocent. You wanted a life. You wanted a body that did not feel rented. You wanted time that did not report to anyone. You wanted proof there was still a person in there, under the tasks, under the passwords, under the polite little emails dying in your throat. That is not stupid. That is human. But a system that exhausts people all week will always be ready to sell them the weekend version of themselves. So maybe the question is not, how do we have a better Friday? Maybe the question is, what would rest look like if it did not have to repair a damaged self? Because Friday is not the opposite of work. Friday is where work sends the part of you it already used.